Jessica Fletcher?
Startled, Jessica dropped the pen on the hotel register.
Please, I would expect someone in your profession to have a bit more discretion.
You're the famous murder mystery writer, aren't you?
I can't deny that, but I am here for my avocation, not my vocation.
Oh, you mean the antique convention.
Yes, I'm ready for 4 splendid days of Tiffany lamps, Chippendale furniture, and antique jewelry. So I'd prefer if you would ignore the name on the register and just think of me as room 803.
The clerk nodded dumbly as Jessica took her key and slipped into the elevator. As the doors shut her off from the lobby, she heard his scream once more.
Do you know who that was? Jessica Fletcher!
Jessica was lying in bed, half awakened by the morning sun, when she heard the voices outside her room. She was already at the door when the knock came. She opened it to reveal the desk clerk.
Mrs. Fletcher? I hate to bother you, but, well, there's been an accident. Actually, it could be a murder. I mean, could you look in room 807? We really need your help.
Jessica looked up from the body on the carpet.
The police have already been here. What can I do for you?
The answer came from a man wearing a white carnation in the lapel of his pinstriped jacket.
The police spent all evening and solved nothing. It's a great pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Fletcher. My name is Jonathan Wadsworth, and I'm the director of this antique convention. Believe me, I feel as distressed about this death as anyone else, but I can't let it interfere with the business of the weekend. I have invested a great deal of money in preparing this convention, and these rumors that are spreading about a murderer at large may scare off all of our buyers.
Then let's get down to cases. Who was this man?
His name is Malcolm Penner, a jewelry dealer from Springfield.
Exactly what type of jewelry did Mr. Penner deal in?
Very fine items. Nouveau one-stones, Wallingford brooches, gold coins, pre-war watches, and gold bracelets, like the one on the floor near the jeweler's loop.
I see. And those 2 items on the floor led you to believe his death was an accident?
They most certainly did, Mrs. Fletcher. As you can see, there is no bulb in the table lamp. The only working fixture is the one on the ceiling. So, when poor Malcolm wanted to examine the bracelets, he was forced to climb onto a chair and hold it up to the light. Malcolm was a great collector, but no acrobat. Obviously, he fell and knocked over the lamp and the vase, falling head first onto the desk. It's a terrible loss. He was the second most respected authority in the field.
And who would be the most respected authority?
That would be me, Mrs. Fletcher.
Jessica turned to the desk clerk.
What do we know about how Mr. Penner spent last night?
Well, he checked in about an hour before you did. And there's not much more except for the coffee he ordered about dinner time. He asked room service to leave it outside the door.
Jessica wandered into the bathroom. She felt the inside of the bathtub and noted that it was bone dry. She then went to the sink, which was a little moist, and glanced at the bar of hotel soap. It was unused and still neatly wrapped. Jessica returned to the room.
So the last person Mr. Penner spoke to
Would probably have been me. My name is Naomi Penner. That's right, Mrs. Fletcher. I am Mrs. Malcolm Penner, currently estranged and soon to be divorced, but I guess all that's moot now.
And you say that you visited Mr. Penner last night?
I called his room last night, hoping to have dinner with him, but he said he wanted to be alone. And when I called again later in the night, there was no answer, so I guess he was just destined to spend his last evening alone.
If you don't mind, Mrs. Penner, would you tell me if you felt your marriage was unsalvageable?
Actually, Mrs. Fletcher, I thought it might still have a chance. Malcolm might have thought so too, but he was too preoccupied with this darn convention to see me last night.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Penner. I can't change what has happened, but perhaps I can find the guilty party.
Jessica pointed to the desk clerk.
Have you or anyone who is not in the room stepped into the area where the body fell?
No. The maid who found the body didn't go near it, and the police, well, they roped it off as soon as they arrived.
Seems strange, doesn't it?
Jessica scanned the faces of the people in the room for any reaction.
What? What's strange?
A dealer on an important sales trip with only one sample?
Maybe he was just buying.
No, I don't think so. I think he had many valuable things to sell. Things that one of you felt were worth enough to kill him for.
One of us?
Yes, someone came up to this room last night to have coffee with Mr. Penner. I can only speculate on what happened next, but I now know how it all ended.
Jessica Fletcher turned to the policeman guarding the room.
Officer, arrest this person for murder.
How did Jessica Fletcher know that Mr. Penner had not been alone? How did Jessica know which suspect had been near the body? The answers to these two questions are both contained in the puzzle picture. After you have put the puzzle together, look it over carefully and reread the story before you decide on your answers.